Yes. So that's a very nice question, very thought through question. Thank you for that. I would like to take two steps back and understand that how different generations look at work. So, as Vibhuti also mentioned in terms of, from scarcity to, from survival to scarcity to abundance. I, for one, feel that the older generation used to make ensure that work is integrated and a big part of their life. It used to be a big part of their identity. So if you're working for a certain brand, or if you're working for a certain in a certain role, that used to take precedence over what your life is. And that's how a lot of introductions used to be. I've seen in my older generation, and not in my family another way. Now the way I look at work, if you ask me, is that work is a part of my life. I'm much more bigger than just my work. What I do, of course, I want to excel in my career. I want to become better at. I want to learn. I want to do all those things. But again, it's a part and an aspect of my life which interacts with other parts and aspects of my life, which is relationships, how I'm giving back to the society, what is my stance on the worldview. So we are now global citizens. We are no longer citizens of a particular country or a region. We are at that intersectionality of a lot of realities. uh, so with that and whatever is happening around the world, or like the COVID crisis, and it has made us a lot, like all of us unitedly think a lot in terms of how do we look at work, what is going to be the future of work. And as Sonal mentioned, right at the beginning of the call, that workplace is not where I sit, is not an office or a building that I work. It's now anywhere which I have, where I have my laptop. And that might not be the reality for a lot of other industries, but as we see an IT boom, or a lot of organizations which are service based in their nature have moved on to that. So there has to be a prime importance, and as to how do we design work. Is work looked at something that a person has to do at a fixed number of hours, and everybody has to be together in the office? Or is it looked at anybody and everybody, as long as the deadlines and the whatever is expected is met and is done? You do it your way, I do it your way, we all mutually agree and respect each other's way of working. So it's come down to that. And of course, as I mentioned, that purpose is something which has taken precedence. Purpose is broadly this, like, what do you look at? How do you want to contribute as your life, and whatever number of years that you have on this planet? How do you want to sort of, how do you want to be? Do you want to be a workaholic? Do you want to be somebody who pursues a lot of hobbies? Somebody who's extremely vocal about certain marginalized societies or communities? Do you want to bring all of that to work? And is the organization, the workplace, ready for that? Is the question. So a lot of organizations have now caught on to the wave of DEI, and become more inclusive and accepting, so that we ideally anybody spends about a good portion of their day at work or working. So that place has to become extremely inclusive, has to become close to home. And before the COVID crisis, we saw a lot of IT companies and a lot of other service based organizations investing highly on their infrastructure to make sure that you work, you sit here, you live here. Like lot of my friends, their parents would say that this person goes to work, but I don't know whether he'll come back or not, because your workplace is becoming like that. So taking that context into our reality, which is, we have realized that work can be done for certain industries, can be done from the comfort of your home, or come from the comfort of everywhere else. Then that leaves a lot of space, a lot of time for you to pursue a lot of other things. So at my workplace, as you read it in my introduction, I also globally lead the employee network, or employee resource group, for the LGBTQ professionals. That's something that I'm extremely passionate about, and that's something that I could contribute while I'm working. So I think that is something that flexible working, creating these avenues, whether it's employee resource groups, so that people can come together and pursue those interests, and can be given a platform for them to also get visibility from the executive leaders. That is one thing. And of course, understanding what drives the other person, what drives the younger generation. For example, example, for ideally for anybody, uh, a certain social event would not be big of an event to sort of celebrate. But for Gen Zs, when a certain artists like Coldplay and Dua Lipa came to India, that became like a big thing, and we wanted to take leaves and vacations to plan and sort of to celebrate that. And that's something that I think we all should sort of understand, that where what are our priorities, what drives us, and also understand that that's something that can be blended in together.